I wonder now, like as you were speaking, based on technology, based on the way the landscape is now, what are the biggest differences you see in financial planning, financial advising from the day you started to present day?
I'm not in this space anymore, so I'm not really sure as far as like the day to day, but I know technology has definitely changed everything. As far as you know, when I came in, it was paperwork, you know, like massive amounts of paper. And now a lot of that has been changed, and it's everything is online. It's even how they keep your records is online, and that's one of the things where I like the blockchain. Like that's how I understood blockchain early, and I understood like how it was going. Everybody kept talking about blockchain as far as cryptocurrency, but blockchain, what it's going to do to the healthcare industry is going to be phenomenal, because it's like, you know, when we used to order medical records for somebody that wanted life insurance. So if you wanted life insurance, you have to fill the application, but then we have to 9 times out of 10, we have to order your medical records, which we call the APS, attending physician statement. Now, this is us actually, the insurance company is reaching out to the hospital or the doctor saying, can you give us records, right? And then they give them the records, and then they have to review the records. I've seen it take up to 8 months because the secretary is just incompetent. They don't get back. And this is a physical process of them. They have to fax or email paperwork. But in the doctor's office, they have thousands of paper. Like this is something that I've seen with my own eyes. So I understand, like, all right, once this, and it's going to take a long time for it to get fully digitalized, but it's going to get digitalized at some point in time. So at some point in time, all of these medical records are going to be on the blockchain, and it's going to take a minute. It's going to say, okay, he had an EKG in February. I don't even got to call nobody. It's going to be all in the system, a database. The insurance company is going to have a system with all of the hospitals. They're going to put the code in, and they're going to send it, and then they're going to send it back. Little stuff like that saves so much money, becomes more efficient. It's everything. So it all ties in. So that's one of the things that I even knew back then, like this is going to change everything once they really can get this done on a more efficient level as far as technology. Then, of course, robo-advisors. I don't think robo-advisors has taken off the way that people have planned.
They're planned,
but who knows? That might be something in the future as well, as far as, you know, people fully relying on AI to be their financial advisor, as opposed to a person. Like I said, it's not there yet. You still need a human touch, but as they're getting better with artificial intelligence, that might be something to look out for sure.
Is that one of those career paths where we look at it, fast forward to the future, when we talk about AI and generative AI, are these some of those career paths that you could see being dented, replaced, right? Because the access to information is there, even now. Like, a lot of people are getting access to information. Technology is going to streamline it as well. How much of in the future you think the human touch is going to be needed in that space?
I think it's still needed, even if you look at taxes, right? I mean, theoretically, you could probably send all your information to AI right now, and AI could do your taxes. Me personally, I would still want a human
overseeing
it. I still need to talk to somebody, explain things to them, tell them like, yo, this was this was that. So, but I do think that humans need to utilize AI. So if you're a CPA, if you're a financial advisor, you should be utilizing the technology as it's what everybody keeps saying. Like, a lot of the things is not necessarily going to totally replace somebody, but it will replace, like, if you have an assistant, that might not be needed, right? But that's actually could be beneficial to you because you don't have to pay an assistant anymore. So,
thank the Lord.
I mean, from a financial standpoint,
to help.
So I feel like I don't feel like it's. I think it's especially for wealthy people. I think the wealthy people, if you got, let's be honest, you got $100 million, you're
not hitting Chat GPT 5
I doubt
manage the family office. I'm sorry.
Even for like a lawyer, right? Like, yeah, if you got a public defender, you might just want to take your chances with a robot at that point. But if you got 100 million, you still might. Now, the lawyers need to be working with AI to make sure that they get all of the data collected. But I still think that personal that personal interest is needed. But like I said, you should definitely be working with somebody because, you know, I got audited before, and that's because years ago I tried to do my own taxes. This was like probably 17 years ago. I did TurboTax. So I learned the valuable lesson. Trying to save money, you end up, you know, costing yourself more money. So I never used TurboTax ever again. Shout out to TurboTax. I had nothing against them, but you want to use a professional. That's my whole thing in life. Like, if I want to put a painting up, I'm not qualified to put a painting up, right? You might think you are until it's crooked. And then you drill the hole in the wall. Now you got to drill another hole in the wall. And you think, what's the worst that could happen? It's just a painting until you tear your
drywall.
You tear your whole wall down.
Tilt your drywall.
That's a fact.
Hit your plumbing.
That's a fact.
Real. Change order.
I'm a big proponent in paying a professional for services. I have no problem with doing that. But yeah, shout out to everybody out there that's an entrepreneur. Make sure that, you know, you're making the most of your situation, because the government's going to get their money, but there are ways to limit. There are ways to limit the amount of money that you're paying legally.
Keyword.
But
Key emphasis.
Oh man, no.
As far as the AI debate too, I think it's going to be a battle between the subpar and supreme. Those who are supreme at doing their job, there'll always be space for you. But if you're subpar,
I
mean, even since Chat GPT came out, like I've talked about this before, man, like I've been able to replace at least 8 people. And then I don't have to hear the complaints about they were tired or had too much Don Julio the night before. Great. Good old Chat GPT and Midjourney gonna be right there.
Don Julio.
Chef him up. Thank you.
Don Julio.
This is a message brought to you by
education, vitally important. And that's the kind of stuff you're never gonna learn that in school. So that's, you know, one of these things you gotta learn on your own, right? They're not gonna teach you retirement planning in school. So it's like, you know, it's one thing to become a business owner. They're not gonna teach you that, but it's another thing to how do you maintain your wealth? How do you maintain it? How do you save it? How do you grow it?
The hardest part.
And these are all things that you gotta, like even Shaq, I heard he was saying, like, you know, I picked up a gym from him when he was like, I'm not just gonna pay my mom. I put her on payroll.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna give my mom money anyway, why not just give her a job? Right. And there's plenty of jobs that you can give your mom. But so many people, like, we just see rappers, and it's not their fault, they're uneducated. Like, you ever see these videos where rappers give their mom like $50,000 in cash?
Yeah.
Or like $10,000 in cash for their birthday. Or even their girl, they do that all the time. I see like girls on Instagram, they get like money, like this amount of money in like a Birkin bag, and it's like, happy birthday, babe. But I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna give you the money, if we talking every day, why don't you be a consultant for me, right?
For real.
Why don't you be on payroll? And now you'll help me because the money that I'm paying you is tax deductible, but I'll also help you as well because, yeah, you do have to pay money on the taxes, but at least you can have some income that you can show when you need to buy a car, when you need to buy a home right now, as opposed to you just having no money to show at all. Now, at the very least, if we're in a relationship and I am going to give you money, well, why not? Let's do it that way, as opposed to it looks good on Instagram, but that's the issue. That 50,000 is not something I'm ever going to get back.
You just brought up a great point inside of, and I know that's something we had conversations about in the past, where it was like, yeah, as an entrepreneur, I can write things off, but as you're doing that, you're also bringing it down your income level, right? So if you wrote everything off and now you have 20,000 that you said that you've made this year, well, you try to go buy that house,
try to go buy something,
you only made 20,000, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to be mindful of these decisions that you make.
Fellas, if they ever hit you with it, but that doesn't feel like love, let her go.
But I heard them on Market Monday say you should put me on salary.
Girl. Packing them bags too is a part of that social media job. Funny stuff.
Okay. W9.
Back up this gimbal, motherfucker. Come on.
That goes back to the education process, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you got a vet.
We talk about women following men, right? Well, if you're not a leader, you can't be followed. So if you want to be followed and if you want to be a leader, it's up to you to be an educator as well, right? Like, let me sit down. I'm gonna educate you on why signing this W-9 is important.
And it's NDA.
No,
The
it's
W-9 and NDA together?
W-9 NDA play.